This is a fun one. Do we believe that Cade Klubnik will have a better season than DJ for Florida State? I'm gonna let you jump on that one.
All right. I've been waiting for this question to be asked. I've been waiting to be on air for this. So I know that as everybody thinks of DJ in a Clemson sense, he's a bit of a pariah, right? But if you look statistically from year to year, in his first year as a full-time starter versus year 2, and his second year as a full-time starter, it doesn't feel like there was a ton of improvement, right? You lost to Notre Dame, you got blown out. South Carolina loss was just, you could not accept that. But just from a number standpoint, he went from 9 touchdowns his sophomore year to 22 his next year.
That is DJ Uiagalelei you're talking about.
Yeah, DJ went from 9 to 22. So that's almost a 150% jump in production just off that. Now, that's not great, but he improved from year 1 to year 2. And then interception-wise, may not seem like it, he went from 10 interceptions his sophomore year to 7 his junior year. Now, he did get taken out against Syracuse, the whole 9 yards. There's a lot to unpack there, but he improved. And so you put Cade at a starting point of 19-9. It's 19 touchdowns passing, 9 interceptions. That's not really – you look at numbers from first-time starters, any other program in the country, people are going to go, that's serviceable, he's okay. He had a lot of pretty good numbers compared to other quarterbacks. It's just you have some issues with the line, drops, everything. Turnovers were horrible, and so it puts him in a different light. But if you think about it, even if he had a 50% jump next year, so half as good as it was, you're looking between 28 and 29 touchdowns next year, which I think we can both agree, if he threw for 29 touchdowns last year, the season itself probably is taking a different light than what it was. And so that's something that I want to leave people with is like, all right, if he makes a jump, even if it's just playing halfway better, the season might look a lot different than people are expecting, especially if the defense keeps up what they're doing. If the wide receiving core kind of melds together, if he makes a jump, I'm not going to say he's going to be Trevor or Deshaun or anything, but he's going to be a lot better than people think. So all that to answer this question, I think Cade's going to end up having a better season than DJ for FSU because here's the other thing. You look at DJ's numbers from year 3 at Clemson to year 4, numbers are pretty much identical. No matter how you want to slice it, he was playing in an offense that was able to mask his ineffectiveness at Clemson because they had a very stellar run game and a running back that is now at Miami playing for the Hurricanes. I think he went from throwing for 22 to 21 touchdowns at Oregon State, had the same amount of interceptions. Right. And so he might do that again at Florida State, but again, you're putting the onus back on him rather than a stellar offensive line and running back. And if you watch the spring game, he looked the exact same. Like there's just no other way to put it. And that's my concern if I'm Florida State is you're losing Cedric Benson and replacing him with high talent potential, and you're losing guys like Johnny Wilson and you're losing Keon Coleman and replacing them with high talent potential. But how much potential do you have when you have a quarterback that has confidence issues and could be throwing it into the dirt, throwing it 6 rows into the stands, or throwing it to the other team? You don't know what's going to happen when he looks down the field. That's why I'm going to tend to say Cade's going to have a better season.
So I think I agree. Let me try to unpack this too. We can end on this one. This is a great question. Thank you to the commenter who dropped this in. So I love your point about the progression, and I think this is something scouts will talk about. Like, how much more growth does DJ have left? This is year 5, right? So he's gotten 4 years in college, weight rooms. He's gotten 4 years to learn how this works, right, and improve his game. And like you said, last year he went from in 2022 with Clemson, 62% completion. It actually went down to 57 despite throwing fewer attempts because they can lean on the run game more. I do think that that offense suited him better at Oregon State, where it's a little more play action and maybe even pro style. But you kind of just saw this is what he is. I watched him. He's smart. He makes better decisions than Cade, at least last year did. But there's just the tools aren't the same. He doesn't have the speed, the zip, the accuracy, especially. I think that Cade's a much more accurate thrower. And to your point, Cade, we don't have a ton of growth yet, but I think you expect, like you said, the jump, right? And Cade wasn't. There was moments where he made dumb decisions. Florida State at the end, passed when he should have handed it off. Miami, where he ran it instead of handoff, which was literally the call. You clean a couple of those up, the whole season looks different. And I believe part of that maybe is just immaturity, and he's got to learn. But I wonder if he felt like he couldn't trust his teammates. If he hands it off, is Shipley going to fumble it? Is the offensive line going to block? Because Shipley fumbled it a lot, and the offensive line failed to block a lot. And if he makes a certain pass, are they just going to drop it? Because they did that a lot too. So I wonder if it's kind of that virtuous cycles of other players making plays. They trust them.
If you think about it from a sense of Cade's numbers, how different they would look if, say, for instance, Maffa picks up that block. If you watch that play, Bo's starting to come open across the field. He hits that, could be a touchdown as far as that goes. Or thinking about
even if it's not, Clemson wins.
Yeah, even if it's not, it's a first down. You're running the clock. You're likely going to be able to put that game on ice if you score there. The Duke game, all those turnovers, the outcome of that game goes from a blowout to probably a Clemson win if you're able to not turn the ball over like you did in that game. Same with Miami. If Will Shipley hangs on to the ball going into the end zone, Clemson beats Miami. End of story. So there is trepidation for him in that way. And maybe now he's got a little bit more trust. It's just kind of, you got to bring it all together. I think it's going to be a fresh start this year. It's good. I think there's potential for Cade to grow. Whereas DJ, how much growth are we talking about here?
If you enjoyed this video, you can help the channel grow in a couple ways. Like the video and leave a comment. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're a pet owner and you live in the upstate, I want to tell you about Ready Vets. Ready Vets offers immediate walk-in care when your pet can't wait. Owned by 2 Clemson alumni, they're open 7 days per week until 10 p.m. They're located in Taylor's, just over 10 miles from downtown Greenville and the Woodruff Road shopping district. Save them in your phone in case you ever need them.